My name's David Malloy. I am board certified in internal medicine. I practice in the metropolis of Kerrville, Texas. And when I was growing up, there were two things that I knew. I knew that I loved science and I loved helping people. So it was only natural that I would grow up and become a doctor. And I remember to this day filling out that application to med school. And there was an essay part, and it asked, why do you want to become a doctor? Well, of course, I wrote about my love of science, wrote about caring about people. But on the final paragraph, I put I wanted financial security, which at the time was somewhat avant-garde. But it got me an invite. I was invited to interview with the dean, and I remember sitting across the desk from him, and he mentioned that, and he said, gosh, almost nobody says that. Your application stood out because of that comment. And he said, young man, you will never, ever have to worry about income. You'll be financially set for the rest of your life. Well, as we now know, he could not have been more wrong, right? And so it's really my honor today to speak about the income stream associated with the biophotonic scanner program, because we have so many physicians out there and other healthcare providers that really need help. It's not just about them, it's about their patients. So I'm honored to speak about it. Let's just move on to our first slide. The program does require an initial investment, and that startup cost is about $3,250. Now, as a doctor looking at this for the first time, this was not a barrier for me because I had incorporated other ancillary services into my practice, like bone density. That was $100,000. I invested in another piece of equipment for $43,000, heart monitors for $20,000. So $3,250 was a blip on the screen. So that was not a big deal. I didn't want to throw that money away, but I also wanted to know, is this really viable? Will this really work? Is the science real? And from what you guys seen today, I hope you feel comfortable with the fact that the science is very valid. So the $3,250 is something that I think a physician or any healthcare provider can recoup very quickly. When this program is implemented properly, that investment should be just completely recouped within the first month. It was for me. I would say we probably recouped that investment in the first 2 weeks. So it's not difficult. It's just a matter of, like Steve Moore said, implementing this program properly. And with that startup kit, you will get inventory, you'll get the scanner, and you'll get hundreds of scan cards. So there really are two sources of income with this program. There is the scan revenue. You heard Dr. Moore talk about that just briefly. And then there is the residual from the LifePak nanotherapy. Now, that whole thing of residual was a very foreign concept to me as a doctor because I was so used to trading my time for money. And this is something that is sometimes difficult to get across to physicians. So let's start off with the scan revenue. It's $20 per scan. Now, in the year and a half that we've been doing this in our clinic, we have never had a single patient complain about that fee. You should never, ever, ever let a healthcare provider give this away for free. And it's really a detriment to the patient because the patient will not value the results of the test. So that is a non-issue. So let's say 5 patients per day are scanned, okay, at $20. That extrapolates out to $25,000 a year. 10 patients a day, it's $50,000 a year. Pretty simple, straightforward. It's cash straight into that doctor's practice. No filing with insurance companies. All right, let's talk about residual income. This is my favorite part. For every 100 patients that go on LifePak nanotherapy, that's going to equate to $30,000 per year. 200 patients, $60,000. 300 patients, $90,000. So, I mean, you look at a practice that has 3,000, 6,000 patients, we're talking about a very small adoption rate, okay? Now, we've heard various numbers of 20%, 50%, 30%. Frankly, my honest experience and opinion is that If you don't get 20 to 30%, then there's something wrong with your scan operator. Either have bad breath, bad body odor, something is wrong with that person, or the program just isn't being implemented properly. This is very straightforward. And so these are very conservative numbers. So when you look at it and you add up the scan fees and the residual income, you're talking really a very nice, you're talking about a very nice residual income for that healthcare provider. $100,000 to $150,000 is not out of the question at all. I can tell you that in my practice, we now are generating enough residual income to almost rival my regular income as a doctor. Now that equates to freedom. I mean, here it is. It's Friday. I'm in beautiful Provo, Utah. I'm not in the slave quarters, okay? My staff is back there in Texas right now, and as we speak, they're scanning people, okay? And that is freedom. That is a really wonderful feeling to have more time. It gives me more time to do what I'm really passionate about, and that is spend time with my patients. I get to spend more time and do better preventive care. You cannot do good medicine seeing a patient every 5 minutes. When you take off that financial pressure, you make that healthcare provider better. With this scanner program, we have a gift. It's something that will not just touch the lives of that healthcare provider, but the thousands of patients that they take care of. All across this country right now, practices are folding. And this biophotonic scanner program is the answer to help them stay in business. It is a game changer. So you have a wonderful gift to offer these physicians, and I hope that this information has been helpful. Thank you for letting me speak.